Hi everyone, my name is Colleen Light. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you're new to my channel, welcome and hello. If you've seen me start this video a few times before, the one thing you may not know about me is if I don't get it right the first time, I'll just keep trying. So I'm trying again. Anyway, I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If I did not mention that, and I come to you from a small town in Southwest Washington, couple of housekeeping things, both the Designer Series paper sale and the bonus days coupons, they end tomorrow. So if you have any of those coupons you haven't redeemed yet, do so. And if you were really interested in any of the Designer Series paper, make sure that you get the discounted price by the end of tomorrow. Few other things going on in Stampin' Up! I'm happy to share those with you. Stick around with me for about 20-25 minutes and we'll see how quickly we can get this really fun technique done. Okay, I'm going to try the camera flip. It has not been very successful for me today. Oh, you can see it just kind of glitches off and on. And I have a new phone and I think that may have something to do with it. I haven't quite exactly figured out how to work it yet. But anyway, as with anything, it just takes a little bit of practice. That's what I even say about card making. It just takes a little bit of practice and then it all seems to get done. So if you caught my earlier video and you're back again, thank you so much. Leave a comment, let me know. Sometimes it's a little shadowy up there in the corner. I'm going to see if I can move this just a hair, maybe not. Just ignore that shadow in the upper corner, maybe. Or let me see what I can do. I think we're okay. We just won't worry about those little distractions. Let me see if I can zoom you in a little bit. Let's see, maybe that might help if I do that. Okay, we're not going to worry about it. All right, so these are the cards. I said we're not going to worry about it, and I keep fiddling with the camera. These are the cards that I made. And again, sorry about the shadowing. These are Pinwheel cards. These three were made with the Thoughtful Journey paper, the Designer Series paper. This here is made from the Brights 6x6 Designer Series paper. This is really a fun one, and you'll find that in the annual catalog. And this one was made with the Be Mine, which is retired Designer Series paper. So these are the standard Pinwheel card designs. This is one that I did the last time I did a video, and so much fun. It's interactive. This is a Pinwheel Tower card, and I think this one is just so much fun. It sits up on a mantle, and you can decorate all your panels. So I thought these Pinwheel cards are just fun to me. So as you know, I'm going to move this out of the way and we're going to cut paper first. You know, I like to do everything with you. I'm going to change this design, the colors up just a little bit. Let's start with our card base. If you've followed me for any length of time, you know I like thick, basic white card bases. I think they're clean. I think they're easy. So my last video, just to explain why I'm back on again, this is also 5.5 by 8.5, and we're going to score it 4 1/4. My little King Charles Cavalier high maintenance puppy came in and was trying to get in things, and I was pretty distracted. And then I thought to myself, we're just going to fold that in half. I'm going to try and edit while he's in my craft room with me. Well, as you might imagine, that was the worst idea ever because he's pretty darn distracting and it just didn't go great. So anyway, I ended up accidentally deleting that video, which is why I'm here again. Anyway, for our second layer is Designer Series paper, and we're going to cut this at 4 inches by 5 1/4. I did 1/4 inch increments on this, and I thought it worked out really well. While I have this piece out, because we are going to be doing a tag, let's go ahead and cut this in 3/4 inch by 3 3/4. So let's go ahead and just keep this piece out. We want 3/4 inch by 3 3/4. Don't worry about writing everything down because I will have all of the measurements for you. We also need our pinwheel component, and that is 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. I don't know if you can see. So 2 5/8, there's our 1/2 inch mark, and then you want to 1, 2 ticks over. and that is 2 5/8. On one of my posts, I actually have how to read a ruler. And that is not because I don't think you can't read a ruler. It's because no matter how long I have been doing this, I have to stop and think to myself, now what is that again? These pieces here are for our pinwheel component. So let me move that off to the side. I've already cut a piece of basic white, and this is 3 3/4 of an inch by 5, and I have embossed this using the Timber embossing folder. This is a fun embossing folder, and it has that woods look, and I had it sitting out, but oh, here it is. And you just run this through your cut and emboss machine. My hint is, if you are a person like me that gets things a little uneven, there is a black line here, and you can line it up before you put it through your machine. Make sure you always run it through seam side first. All right, so there's another piece, and we need one more piece of basic white. And we want that at 5/8 of an inch by 3 3/4. So let's bring this in here. And again, that's a 1/2 inch plus 1 2 ticks. And then let's go ahead and cut this at 3 3/4. So if you like to look at lots of flowers, good morning, Sharon. Thanks for popping in. If you like to look at flowers or see adorable pictures of a dog, be sure you follow me on Instagram, because that's where I put most of the Harvey pictures. Okay, so now we have this done. Let's go ahead and get our pinwheel components together. Oh, you know, what am I thinking? We forgot to cut the paper for the actual pinwheel. These are 1 1/4 inch by 1 1/4 inch. Pick contrasting colors that you like. I don't know what I was thinking. Let's try this again. This is why some people are better at videos. Oh, good morning, Jeanette. Thanks for watching. This is why some people are better at videos than other of us are. I am just, I don't know, guys. I love to do them, and I love spending time with you. It is so much fun for me. But I'm not good at them. I'm not good at them. I'm trying to get better. I really am. I think I'm all organized. And then I get online and I'm not. So I love this color. It's a soft color, isn't it? All right, so let's put those 4 off to the side. And then let's pick what we want here. So since we're using this pretty peacock, I'm going to use from the bottom here. I thought I'd start with the purples, but I think I'm going to come on this side instead. I think when you make a card, they all come out different. I always say that you can give every card maker the same paper and the same instructions, and everyone's card is going to be different. You know, I don't like that. It's kind of blah. I am going to use the other side. It's just too green for me. I need a little color. And don't be afraid to swap it out and swap out your colors. Thanks, Jeanette. Jeanette says I'm doing fine. Well, sometimes. Anyway, don't be afraid to swap out your colors. Don't be afraid to try different things. It is so much fun. Card making, I think, is so much fun. People love getting mail. I didn't even realize it. One of my daughters has relocated, and so I've been sending her some of my cards. And I went down. She's relocated to Phoenix, and oh, hot. We were just down there. Hot, hot, hot. Not for this Washington girl, let me tell you. Anyway. And she had all of my cards out on her baker's rack, and cards that other people had sent her too. And I thought, oh, that is so sweet. So I guess, that's the fun part, right? Of making cards. Okay, so here's your hint. Just line up 4 1/4 on the grid paper. This grid paper is amazing. And then eyeball it. I'm going to bring it over here, make sure that things are a little bit more lined up. They look good. Benefit of that liquid glue is that you have some wiggle room. All right, let's go ahead and start popping our paper on. I think I could play with glue and paper all day long, honestly. See, that's pretty. Not a lot of a contrast, but just enough. For your first piece, and I'll explain why later, just put a dot here on the side. And let me make sure I get that lined up appropriately. And watch your edges. Just make sure that you leave a nice border like that. I'm glad I switched this other side. So this paper has a little bit of a ridge, so because I cut it the other direction. That is not a big deal whatsoever. Just take your bone folder as you're creating your card and go ahead and just press down those edges. You know, it's a little chilly in this craft room. I'm gonna pop on my sweater real quick here. Give me a second. And it's the same sweater. It's probably, people think I probably own one sweater. It's a sweater I always keep in my craft room. Anyway, that's better. Let me go ahead here. Oh, and that scooted up. See, again, that benefit of that liquid glue is it gives us a little time to make a mistake and fix it. All right, let's grab this again. And then pop this in here. So I do a lot of craft shows. That's why you're seeing me use a lot of basic white card bases. Number one, I like basic white. I think everything matches. And so for me, it just is easy to use basic white. The other reason why is sometimes what I've found is a lot of people, and I know Sharon, who's online, has done craft shows too. In my experience, a lot of people want blank cards. They don't want a lot written in them and decorated. So if I'm mailing these out for myself, I'm going to add an extra layer to the inside, and I'll finish it off with a coordinating designer series paper and another sentiment, and that's what I will do. But I find when I take things to craft shows, most people want blank cards. So if you are watching and you do craft shows, will you let me know if that's been your experience too, or if it's maybe just the area I live in that people want that. And just play around with your design here with your designer series paper. I want a little bit more purple on the outside. I do love the purple, so that's what I'm going to do. My other cards I used wild wheat and not the pretty peacock, and wild wheat's not a color I use very often, but I really had kind of fun using that. I do love pretty peacock. I think it's so Sharon, you're finding that in your experience, they want blank cards too. Well, at least it's not just me, so that makes me happy. But when I send it out myself, I will, and you've seen it in my previous videos, I will go ahead and add a second layer to the inside and add some designer series paper and a sentiment and kind of fancy it up. There we go. All right, and here we have one more piece. So for your last piece, this is why we left that open so we could play around and see how we want this. And since I've been tying in so much of the purple, I'm going to move this around because I want the purple to be at the top. Let me just do that. And then you're going to put your adhesive on this last piece and tuck it in carefully as to not get adhesive all over the place. So I'm telling you to do it carefully because, as you know, we all learn from what we do. So one of my cards did get a bit of adhesive all over the place. So look at that. Isn't that pretty? So there's our first part of our card is done, and it really came together nicely. I'll have all of this, like I said, blogged for you by the end of the evening. I think Harvey and I are going to have to leave pretty quickly for class. Let's go ahead and stamp before we start putting our card together, and then I can take this piece out. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So I'm going to use the Pretty Peacock ink, and I'm going to grab the coordinating stamp set, the Thoughtful Wishes, and this time I'm going to make a thank you card. So I'm going to grab out thanks, see if it's going to fit. Oh, it will. I can tuck that in there. Let me grab a block. So that puppy, I just think he's the cutest thing ever. But let me tell you, puppies give you a run for your money. See, and I press that down. So this is, be very careful when you're using these red stamps, the red rubber. They already have the cushion, so it's not like the photopolymer, so you don't need another cushion underneath here. But you will sometimes, if you press too hard, like I just did, get that halo. So when you press down again, be sure that you press down gently because you don't want to get that ink all over your cardstock. So there, I mean, sometimes my mistakes are for everybody else's benefit. There we go. And then I'm going to tuck that way out of my way so I don't stick my finger in it. And let's go ahead and grab this other layer, the pretty peacock layer that we've already cut. Put a little adhesive here, and you could grab your seal if you wanted for this piece. I really, for whatever reason today, can't seem to do anything in a straight line, so I'm allowing myself lots of wiggle room today. And let's go ahead and pop this down. I'm just going to take my finger and run it across. So I thought maybe about coming on Fridays consistently a little earlier, but I almost really like this noon time. It seems to work out better for me. So I think next Friday, I'm going to just try and be consistent at noon. It just seems to work out better. Harvey likes to go for long walks in the morning. That's the puppy. And it just seems to work out a little bit better. Okay, so there's this one. That's pretty. Oh, I hope I'm not all, I hope I didn't go offline. It looks like it's not moving along very well. So hopefully I'm still, the internet didn't go down because I just don't think I could do this video one more time. Anyway, let's go ahead and pop this here. And let me see here. I'm just going to keep chugging along, I think, and hopefully everything's working as it should. That's all I can hope for. Videos today have not been working out the best for me. I was still seeing you. Thank you, Jeanette. Anyway, let's go ahead and pop this piece down on our card base. So it looks like a somewhat complicated card, but it's not. And I'm going to show you how we're going to fancy this up. So let me grab out some of my dimensionals, which I hope I still have out. I feel like I've gone through so many of them today. You could add other dimensionals here if you wanted. I'm not going to. I think this is good for me. And then take the backings off. And if you didn't want to pop things up on dimensionals and you were trying to maybe consolidate things in a mailer or whatnot, you could certainly glue this down. I always say it's your card, you should do it as you please. And I'm going to offset this a little bit. I'm going to offset it this way because I like how the shapes are a little bit better. There we go. Oh, see if I can center it. Like I said, I'm having a hard time centering things today. Okay. Easy peasy. Now I just need to find that piece, that sentiment. Here it is. It went underneath there. And let's go ahead and grab some more dimensionals here. Again, easy layout. I love when you can make a bunch of cards quickly in the same design and using the same layout. And what I really love about this card is I think if you have a whimsical, like kids, some of the kids patterns that we have, this makes a fun kids card. You can make a nice Christmas card. I think this layout is perfect for any layout you have in mind. So I brought out two. I brought out the Purple Fine Shimmer Gems and these 2023, 2025 in color dots. And the purple just is not with what I want. So I'm going to grab this one and see. I kind of almost like that Pebble Path. I think that one looks pretty. But I also like the Wild Weed, the Moody Mauve. I like them all. I like them all. But I have a bunch of these Pebbled Path ones. So the colors are, the in colors are Boho Blue, Copper Clay, Moody Mauve, Wild Wheat, and Pebble Path. And I'm kind of debating between the wild wheat and the pebbled path, but I think I'm going to do the pebbled path just because I have a lot of them. Nobody's going to know. I don't think anyone's going to say when they get the card, my goodness, that's the wrong gem. Anyway, oh, that is kind of pretty, isn't it? Look at that. Just gives it a little bit of sparkle there. Okay, and then let's take 2 more to kind of fancy up this bottom part and dress this up a little bit. You could put ribbon, however you like to dress up your card. I tend to be a pretty simple stamper. So for me, just finishing simply is usually the way I'll go. So, but since I will be getting ready for some craft shows, you can look, this one wants to stick to me. You can look forward to some fun boxes and different types of 3D projects because those are always fun to bring. Anyway, here is today's card. So how cute is this? And here are the other ones that I made through all the videos that didn't, let me move these things out of the way, that didn't work out well today and weren't really overly successful. And then Harvey and I are gonna race to his class. So these are all using the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper. If you haven't seen it, look at it. It is really so, so pretty, and I think you will like it. This is the Be Mine. That's the one I also used with the interactive, and it is retired. So just pull out your retired whimsical designer series paper. And this is the one that I made using the cutest onesie stamp set, which I think really has been one of my absolute favorite stamp sets. And this is from the Bright 6x6 designer series paper collection. So if you've joined me again, thank you so much. I will see you next Friday at noon. I think that's going to be my new time. It just seems to work best for me. Okay, see you soon. Have a great weekend.